Harry, the next time Meghan tries to get you to a sports game, just say no. NBA All-Star Game happily posted by the Basketball Association. The delusional Duke realized he was on camera. This looks like a hostage situation, and somehow everyone's the victim. She treats him like her child. He's unhappy, you're on camera. Actually taking their children might be a nice idea. I mean, watch this video from revealing the narc, and you'll see there she is. Happy come to that later. And Harry is unable to pretend and realize that he's on video.
Prince Harry's recent public appearances have led to observations that he often appears remarkably uncomfortable, even in high-profile social settings. While attending an NBA game with his wife, Harry's demeanor stood in stark contrast to the energetic atmosphere. Observers noted that his facial expressions frequently suggested a desire to be elsewhere, a sentiment that has become a recurring theme in his recent public outings. It has reached a point where his presence at high-profile events often appears more like a somber obligation than a genuine engagement. The discrepancy between official imagery and raw footage has become a primary focus for critics. While the NBA's social media accounts promoted images of a seemingly cheerful couple, unedited video told a different story. As soon as the Duke believed the cameras were no longer focused on him, his expression shifted from a practiced smile to one of visible exhaustion. This transition has led commentators to suggest that these appearances feel less like natural outings and more like a series of managed professional requirements. Close analysis of the footage reveals a moment where Harry realizes he is back on camera, resulting in an immediate and jarring shift in his expression. This behavior has been described by some as a survival mechanism. Meghan is frequently seen guiding these interactions, nudging him and signaling when to perform for the lenses. This coordination suggests a carefully managed PR strategy, yet the lack of synchronization between the two is becoming more evident. When one partner appears jubilant while the other looks detached, the narrative of a happy couple becomes difficult to sustain. A brief moment of genuine engagement occurred when Harry spoke with actor Chris Tucker. For those few minutes, the Duke appeared animated and individual. However, once the conversation ended, the contrast returned. While Harry sought interaction with Meghan, she remained focused on the surrounding cameras. Notably, Meghan stayed out of the frame during the interaction with Tucker. Given the actor's name appearing in documents related to Jeffrey Epstein, observers suggest her PR team was working to avoid any negative association, leaving Harry to navigate the social interaction on his own. The atmosphere in the arena further highlighted a decline in the couple's public standing. While the Sussexes attempted to manufacture a high-profile moment, former President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama were also in attendance. The difference in reception was immediate. Players and attendees approached the Obamas with genuine reverence, while Harry and Meghan were largely ignored by the athletes on the court. It appears that royal status carries less weight in these settings than perceived cultural relevance or personal standing. This appearance was part of a broader PR effort that began the night before with a photographed Valentine's Day dinner. Despite the presence of cameras at a supposedly private outing, the disconnect between the couple remained obvious. Meghan's consistent smile stood in contrast to Harry's somber expression. These recurring discrepancies suggest that the effort to project a unified, happy image often results in the opposite effect. When a photo shoot is required to demonstrate domestic happiness, it often suggests the reality is quite different. Even those within their professional circle are shifting their focus. Omid Scobie, often described as an unofficial spokesperson for the couple, has moved into writing fiction following a period where his journalistic credibility faced significant challenges. Scobie has recently attempted to link the Prince and Princess of Wales to the Prince Andrew scandal, a move seen as a transparent attempt to deflect criticism from Harry and Meghan, who have remained equally silent on the matter. His shift to fiction appears to be a response to a loss of standing within the real-world media landscape. Ultimately, these public appearances are increasingly viewed as exercises in maintaining relevance rather than promoting specific causes. The persistent disconnect between Meghan's camera-ready enthusiasm and Harry's apparent withdrawal suggests a couple struggling to align their public personas. As Harry appears to lose a sense of clear purpose, the global stage continues to capture a partnership that seems increasingly out of sync. This raises the question of whether Harry is an unwilling participant in this PR machine or a complicit partner in these staged moments. The transition from a joint public identity to what industry insiders describe as a professional separation has become the defining characteristic of the Sussex strategy over the last 18 months. This shift was marked by Prince Harry's increasingly frequent solo travel to the United Kingdom and Southern Africa, focusing on his long-standing commitments to Centibale and the Well Child Awards. These visits, conducted without the accompaniment of his wife, appeared to be a calculated attempt to reclaim the narrative of his pre-California life as a dedicated humanitarian. Observers noted that during these solo engagements, Harry's demeanor was noticeably more relaxed and engaged, a departure from the visible tension often recorded during high-profile commercial events in the United States. While Harry leaned back into his philanthropic roots, Meghan remained in California to oversee the development of her lifestyle brand, American Riviera Orchard. The initial rollout of American Riviera Orchard involved a limited release of strawberry and raspberry jams to a select group of 50 influencers and friends. While the campaign generated significant initial social media traffic, it also invited scrutiny regarding the lack of a functional e-commerce platform or a clear product line beyond small-batch preserves. The business strategy was questioned by retail analysts who pointed out the difficulty of scaling a luxury brand when the primary product remains unavailable to the general public months after the announcement. Furthermore, the timing of these commercial efforts frequently coincided with major events for the working members of the royal family. The announcement of the brand occurred shortly before the Princess of Wales made a significant public appearance, fueling the perception that the couple's operations remain reactive rather than strategic. The status of their primary media contracts remains a point of intense scrutiny within the entertainment industry. Following the expiration of their Spotify agreement and the subsequent public criticism from company executives, the focus shifted entirely to their remaining $100 million deal with Netflix. The production slate has moved away from the high-stakes autobiographical content that defined their early output toward more conventional celebrity lifestyle programming. This includes a documentary series on the world of professional polo and a lifestyle show centered on gardening and entertaining. These projects are viewed by industry experts as an attempt to pivot away from the royal grievance narrative, which has shown signs of diminishing returns toward a more sustainable, if less sensational, media presence. However, the success of these ventures depends on their ability to attract an audience without the lure of royal secrets, a transition that has proven difficult for other high-profile figures in similar positions. This professional divergence has extended to their digital branding. The launch of the website Sussex.com and the decision to change their children's surnames from Mountbatten-Windsor to Sussex was seen as a major rebranding effort. Critics argued that the use of the Sussex title and the royal coat of arms for commercial purposes contradicted the couple's previous statements about seeking a private life. In the United Kingdom, this move was perceived as an attempt to capitalize on their royal connections while remaining outside the structure of the monarchy. This tension is further complicated by Harry's ongoing legal battles with the Home Office regarding his security status. The Duke's insistence that he cannot safely bring his family to the UK without taxpayer-funded protection has become a central point of conflict, with the courts consistently ruling that the Executive Committee for the Protection of Royalty and Public Figures, or RAVEC, acted lawfully in its decision to downgrade his security. Public perception in the United States has also undergone a measurable shift. Data from polling firms indicates a decline in favorability ratings for both Harry and Meghan since the publication of the Duke's memoir and the release of their Netflix docuseries. Satirical depictions in mainstream media, including animated series like South Park and Family Guy, have solidified a public image of the couple as figures focused on their own victimhood. This cultural shift has had tangible effects on their social standing in Montecito. Reports from the local community suggest that the couple is increasingly isolated from the established social circles of the California elite. Neighbors have expressed frustration with the intrusive security protocols and the media circus that follows the couple, leading to a cooling of relationships with other high-profile residents. While they were once seen as the most sought-after arrivals in the area, they are now frequently described as neighbors in name only who rarely participate in the local community life. The 2025 Invictus Games in Vancouver and Whistler served as another test for the couple's public image. During the one-year-to-go events, the couple made several high-profile appearances on the slopes. While the events were intended to highlight the athletes and the mission of the Games, the media coverage remained heavily focused on Meghan's wardrobe and the couple's interpersonal dynamics. This persistent focus on their personal lives often overshadows the charitable work they aim to promote, creating a cycle of publicity that benefits the brand but often dilutes the message of the organizations they support. Within the Invictus community, there are reportedly concerns that the Games are becoming too closely tied to the Sussex's personal branding, potentially alienating corporate sponsors who wish to avoid the controversy surrounding the couple. The Sussex slide is also evident in the couple's relationship with other major public figures. The contrast between their reception and that of the working royals or former political leaders like the Obamas highlights a lack of institutional gravitas. While the Obamas transitioned from the White House to a successful production career by focusing on broad, impactful storytelling, the Sussexes have largely focused on content that centers on their own experiences. This has limited their appeal to a narrower audience and made it difficult for them to establish themselves as serious players in the philanthropic or political arenas. Their attempts to engage with high-level policy issues such as online safety and parental leave have often been met with the criticism that their involvement is more about optics than substantive policy work. As the couple moves further into 2026, the long-term viability of their current model remains uncertain. The professional separation may allow Harry to rebuild his reputation as a dedicated public servant, but it also highlights the lack of a unified vision for their future in America. Meghan's commercial ventures face a crowded marketplace where celebrity brands often fail without significant sustained effort and consumer trust. The disconnect between their stated goals of privacy and their constant pursuit of media attention continues to be the primary obstacle to their public acceptance. Without a significant shift in strategy or a reconciliation with the royal family, the couple risks becoming permanent fixtures of the celebrity tabloid circuit rather than the global leaders they initially aspired to be. The legal and financial pressures are also mounting. The cost of their private security, their Montecito estate, and their ongoing legal fees in the UK is estimated to be in the millions of dollars annually. Without the steady income of a massive production deal or a highly successful commercial brand, the sustainability of their lifestyle is a subject of frequent speculation. This financial pressure may explain the move toward more commercialized branding and the persistent efforts to remain in the public eye. However, as the public's appetite for their narrative continues to wane, the opportunities for high-value deals may become increasingly rare. The coming year will likely determine whether the Sussexes can successfully reinvent themselves or if they will remain caught in a cycle of diminishing influence and increasing public indifference.